everyone. It's Friday, so I'm going to do my conversation. So, the past 2 weeks, of course, I talked about pre op and then I talked about my surgery. So, now I'm going to talk about 10 months post op where I'm at. So, I'm basically in maintenance, kind of. I'm about 5 pounds away from being at normal at BMI charts. I was really told by my doctor about 10, 15 pounds ago that I didn't have to focus on weight loss. I could just focus on strength training because, as most of you know, I lost really quickly. I lost what I was supposed to lose in 18 months, I lost in 6 months. So I lost muscle strength, not just fat loss. So I've been trying to gain that back. So I graduated from strength, from physical therapy. So I've just been continuing that at home. So I've been trying to get that going. So most of you guys know, if you've been watching my videos, that they gave me 7 years for my lungs to make it. My lungs are healthy now. They gave me about 2 to 3 years before I would have to have feet surgery. I don't need foot surgery. I don't even have to see my foot doctor anymore. I barely have foot pain. My diabetes is in remission. My migraines are completely managed by medicine now, and not as many medicines as before. And I'm going to go through my medications that I take now. Most are vitamins, so I'm going to go through that. And so I do deal with my migraines, and migraines do cause some hearing issues, kind of like muffled hearing sometimes, some ear pain, which they thought was an ear problem, but I don't have any ear problems or anything. It's just migraine related. I do have migraines during a certain time of the month, so they're trying to get my hormones under control to reduce the amount of migraine time I have. I do have POTS. I thought it was heart attacks I was having with the lightheadedness and some of the stuff. So POTS is, a lot of people think that's like blood pressure related. So it's not. It's my heart rate goes up, and it's not even as bad as it was. At the beginning, my heart rate would go, like, just getting up in the morning, going to the bathroom would get my heart rate to 140. So my heart rate hardly even goes to 140, and during my period, sorry guys, it would get even worse. And even during my period, it hardly even goes to 120 when I'm doing stuff like grocery shopping and stuff. I used to not be able to go grocery shopping. I was stuck to my couch, not able to do anything. So they told me to increase my activity time as much as I can, to eat salt, a lot of salt. So you'll see in my recipes, I add a lot of salt. So I'm supposed to. That's what my doctor told me to do. To wear compression. So anytime you see me around town or any of my videos, I'm wearing leggings. So, I mean, I could show you. I wear leggings, and they're really, really, really tight leggings. I had to get used to those. I'm not used to wearing leggings. That was something I never, ever wore before when I was bigger. So, I wear really tight leggings all the time. So, and I'm supposed to eat a lot of salt, and I wasn't getting enough salt in my food, so I have these. So, they're salt tablets. So they're 1 gram each. Most people are only supposed to have like 1 gram of salt a day. I had to have 1 gram salt tablets per meal. So right before I eat each meal, I have a 1 gram salt tablet. And then in each Gatorade, so I have one small Gatorade, and then 1 big Body Armor a day. So I put about 1.5 grams of salt in 1.5 grams in my Gatorade, in a small Gatorade, and then I put 2 of the 1.5 in my Body Armor. So I add that. So it all adds up to about 10 grams a day. So what people normally have in salt, I have 10 times that. So I'm able to manage that. And I was having heart medication, but I'm hardly ever taking that anymore. So I've been able to manage that with all of that, per my neurologist and heart doctor's orders. And then, so vitamin wise, I take this every night. It's a bariatric vitamin with iron. Something that happens with gastric bypass is you are usually low in iron. That was one reason that I didn't want gastric bypass, is because you get low on some things. So iron is one of them. And so I also take an iron in the morning before I eat 2 hours before I eat. I take an iron. I also take a vitamin C because in the morning because it helps me absorb the iron. And then, and that was thanks to a missionary friend of mine who told me to take vitamin C with the iron. So I started doing that. And then I also take a vitamin B in the morning that keeps my nausea down. I also have nausea medication if I have nauseous days. I also take a probiotic every morning. It helps my stomach, and sometimes I take a reflux medication. And then for my headaches, I take 3 of these a day. It's topiramate. It's not the best medication, but medication-wise, this is what I take. I take very few actual medications, but this is one I do actually take. And then when I really need it, I take a Ubrelvy. The other one was topiramate. I take Ubrelvy when I need to get out of that really bad migraine. That's basically my medications. Now, try not to make the video very long, because I don't know if my phone can take a long video, but I do want to talk about insurance. So I've said before in the last 2 videos that I've had insurance issues. So, pre-approval. There are things you have to do, and I talked about the pre-approval process in order for your insurance to approve it. So I did everything. I got the pre-approval letter. Insurance said, your doctor's approved, you did the pre-approval process, your hospital's approved, your procedure is approved. Made sure that I got that letter, made sure with my doctor's office that everything was a-okay. They said that my pay for it would be about $300 out of pocket, which really wasn't that bad considering the actual thing is like thousands of dollars. Went to the hospital the day of told me your out-of-pocket would be $300, and I said I would set that up on a payment plan because I didn't have $300 out-of-pocket that day. So they said you could set up a payment plan after the surgery. So I had my surgery. Of course, later on, I had an emergency surgery. The insurance paid for the emergency surgery, which is the one I was worried about. I was worried about the emergency surgery that they wouldn't pay for that. They paid for that 100%. Later on, I get a bill for $50,000. So the insurance decided, for whatever reason, I still don't understand, because they still haven't paid. My original surgery, the one that was pre-approved, the one I went through the pre-approval process, the one that they sent the pre-approval letter, they are not covering. The hospital has appealed it twice, and they have denied it twice. And I am going through the appeal personally, not through the hospital, but personally, and I still haven't heard back. So this next week, I have to call to see if they've approved the appeal. If they haven't, then we're going to have to go through a lawyer to see what we can do. So, just because they pre-approve you doesn't mean they actually pre-approve you, okay? Just take that as a caution, that just because you get the letter, just because they give your doctor the letter, doesn't mean they'll actually approve you, because for some reason, my insurance decided they didn't want to approve me. I still don't understand why. They said that the hospital is not a blue approved center for Blue Cross Blue Shield, except they pre-approved it, and they approved it as a for my gastric bypass, just not my sleeve, even though they pre-approved it beforehand. I have the paper that says approved all the way down. So just take that as a caution, and to do whatever you can to make sure that is for sure. That was a shock to us, and it was going through all the sickness, the months of sickness, being couch bound and everything. It was the last thing that I needed to deal with. I spent days and months crying, because not only was I putting my family through the sickness and not being a real mom and wife and not being able to cook for my family or do anything for my family, I now was putting financial burden on my family. So, and I'm still having to go through that 10 months post-op. So just take that into consideration when you, if you do go through the process. Have a good Friday, and if you ever have any questions, I'm always here. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. Happy Easter.